What is up, YouTube? All right, so welcome to week 2. We did bloods yesterday, which we'll probably see after this. We'll probably make this an intro. But we got bloods done yesterday, which we'll see after this, probably part of the video. And we'll run through some of that stuff in time. But today, a little bit of fluctuation to usual schedule. So it's Tuesday morning. Usually by now we'd been halfway through training, to which we head home and then have some business meetings, some management meetings and stuff that we do when we get back. However, today is final exam of the semester. So for those who are new to the channel or unaware, I'm still studying my degree in clinical psychology. So this is the last exam for the semester, and then we have a good 4-month break, which is perfect. That's why we chose season A, because it aligns perfectly with the majority of my prep being out of school to a degree. So I think for my first show of the season, I'll have been back in semester maybe 3 or 4 weeks. So relatively not too deep into the subject or subjects by the time it starts. It'll still be a big ask because I'll have to be prepping for shows, traveling the country, and then also staying up to date with exams and assignments. But for the most part, that's here nor there and down the track. So yeah, today is a bit of a fluctuation to the usual schedule. I am heading to campus. I'll be on campus for about 4 or 5 hours, studying, recapping, just sort of getting into the location. I generally find that I'm environmentally stimulated. So if I'm in the area, or in the location, I'm in the environment properly and set up, I tend to switch on better. So when it comes to exams for me, usually modafinil, caffeine, plenty of hydration, my meals, and sort of locking in and staying in place up until exam time is how I prefer to operate. I'll be studying exam notes, lecture notes, Quizlet up until 5 minutes before the exam starts. So I'll usually do that and then try to center myself a bit, do some controlled breathing before I start the exam just to de-escalate. The arousal process can be overstimulating for the most part for people, where they get excitement kind of takes over, nerves take over, and fuck-ups happen. So for me, I like to try to study, stay on top of things up until the minute of the exam, and then during perusal, I'll calm myself and catch my breath and then chill out until it's time to go. So yeah, from that we'll have the exam. I think it goes to about 3:30, depending on how well I do it. 90 questions, multiple choice, very straightforward. And then we'll get to training this afternoon. So normally I would have trained by now, but with what time we usually get to training, finish training, it was just going to disrupt any study before the exam. So I'll probably train this afternoon, get my session done. First session of the new block post deload, so I'm excited for that. Actually get to shift some weight again and see what modifications Aaron has made to the program layout, increase some volumization to some areas, so we'll see how that feels. And we'll see what weights we sort of need to feed and find for week 1. So yeah, that's pretty much the update for now. I'm going to go crush an exam. coffee sucks. What is up, YouTube and other forms of social media platforms? It is Monday, week 2 of our bridging phase. We're going to get blood work done. I was meant to get done Friday, but didn't print out the forms, and they're not open on weekends, so that's on me. So we're going to get blood work done, and using this kind of bridging phase to make sure that health is optimal before we start prep, and then fill in any gaps or plug in any holes that show up in the blood panels. Make sure everything's on track before we ramp anything back up. So we've completely de-escalated supplementation, increased other supplementation, make sure that everything's healthy, and we'll use the blood panels by the time they come back to make sure everything's in a good spot. So it's important at the start and end, probably in between as well, of a prep to get your blood panels done. Having a comprehensive understanding and look at what your body's doing also shows you a good baseline of where to come back to. So the body should ideally be healthier in a growth season, off-season, life phase, whatever you want to call it. If food is higher, so energy availability is greater, nutrient diversity is higher, activity levels, fatigue's not as high, cortisol's usually not as high. Inflammatory markers should be as high. So it gives you a good baseline of where you return to when you finish prep, and that's usually a good marker to set as like a aim for post-comp window. So getting a comprehensive blood panel is essential to making sure that you can A, compete for a long time, and B, you're not going to get sick or ill or break down from competing. Spare the cash. Make sure, like, if it comes between the difference of like a few extra vials or a few extra units or actually getting your blood panels done, get the fucking blood panels done. Knowing that you can do this for a long time and where your body's positioned is essential to long-term play in this game. Choosing that over like 1 or 2 extra vials per prep is a no-brainer. If you can't afford that, or if your priorities are in the wrong place, then don't start. If you're in America, you can go to places like Merrick Health, have those guys on your team, get comprehensive reviews on your panels. Even if you're someone who's looking at TRT, there's guys like Primal Zone here in Australia that can help out, that actually help you understand what's going on in your body. So when you get a full comprehensive panel done, means we're looking for full blood panels. So your BPC, we get full sex hormone profile done. That means not just testosterone. If you go to a GP or a public sector, they'll usually just give you a single primary sex hormone test to see what's going on. But again, getting just testosterone and completely ignoring estradiol, progesterone, FSH, so your follicular stimulating hormone, getting those things left off the panel just makes it redundant. You don't know what's going on, you don't see the bigger picture, you don't get the whole picture. So make sure you're getting the comprehensive selection, which if it means you have to spend some cash, spend some cash. We're also getting everything down like cortisol, IGF markers, growth hormone, insulin. We're getting a full thyroid assessment. So for those who don't know, I have Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disorder, which basically gives me hyperthyroidism, if you will. So we like to make sure that we get a comprehensive thyroid panel check. So that's the thyroid stimulating hormone. That's your free T3 and your free T4. just because you need to understand the up and down activations between that entire system. The thyroid is responsible for a lot of mechanisms and actions, so actually ensuring that your thyroid is healthy or functioning properly is pretty important, especially what we do and what we take. So there is a lot, we'll probably have some photos or videos or something we put in there, but there's a lot that we get done to assess and check, and we get that done every time. It's not just like some of it or one or two of it. We'll make sure that everything gets done to ensure as much information as possible so that we can assess everything now and in the future. But yeah, so that's what we're up to this morning. Last meal went in at like 9 o'clock last night. You had to be minimum 8 hours fasted, so weight was a little bit higher this morning. Given I forgot to fast, I forgot I was fasting. Whew. And had 3 meals combined as like my last meal for the evening, so weight was a little bit full this morning. But as of yesterday, we dropped 2 kilos off in the first week of the bridging phase, which is good. It means a lot of the inflammation and fluid just kind of dropped away with the reduction in carbs. The food's still quite high, it's around 4,000 calories a day. Yeah, so now we're going to go get blood work done. Alright, so after the rehab phase with tech, and getting my hamstring back to functionality, I've been doing some work now with Dylan from Inferno Performance over in the States. Man is a madman and a genius. Looking at this point, basically, you notice a few different variations of warm-up and activations. So I'll work through range of motions, stretches, isolations, isometrics. So whilst a lot of hypertrophy resistance style training will include concentric and eccentric phasing, one of the isolating strengthening factors that Dylan's had us incorporate is isometric tension. So be able to place their hamstring into isometric positioning and hold for prolonged periods of time, and be able to sustain that and build up endurance and capability inside that range is part of the not only rehabilitation now, but actually progressing and getting the hamstring to a better position. I find that also alongside my glute work. So different leg day or different activations for leg movements that I'll do. With some lower back work, some spatial improvement. So try and improve spatial improvement for the hip socket and allow the hip to move into a deeper position, and allow the hip and the hip and the leg to basically be able to move a little bit more freely, especially for things like hinging. Is going to allow for greater tension, greater stimulus, and healthier longevity for the season. So that's the leg warm-up side of things. Today is a pull leg session. So we've got a couple of back exercises and 3 different leg exercises. Increased volumization, so the hamstring has higher volume ceiling and calves have higher volume ceiling with an increase in order of execution on the program. So we'll pretty much just go through that. This week coming back from a deload, it's not going to be absolute sending it, but we do intend to flog it. So with how busy the gym is, we'll get the best of what we can. It's not my usual training time, as we said this morning, but we'll make do with what we got and get it done as best we can. So yeah, we're going to start off, we've got some single leg standing lengthened hamstring curls. Then we have calf raises, neutral grip, lat pull downs, leg extensions, and some prone hanging seal rows. So yeah, that's Riff's plan. Let's go fuck shit up.
Like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. Like this. Like this.
All right, so I've had a slight rep range variation. So basically, we pyramiding up the reps. First set's 8 to 10. First set 8 to 10, 2 sets of 10 to 12, and then 1 set of 12 to 15. So what you'll generally find is an inverse relationship. As reps go up, general weight's going to come down. It'll kind of auto-regulate itself in that regard. Fuck. Whew. All right, some easy advice for calf training. Not that we really have many of those to talk about, but it seems to be coming out. People like to talk about it. A lot of the time, we find that the contraction point is from what would be called a neutral position and then into plantar flexion. What we want to do is actually start calf training in what I just refer to as a deficit position, meaning you have maximal stretch at the ankle and you drop your heel right down. Start your rep count from that position and come up to what would be your neutral position. So it's going to be, obviously, if we look at, this is shortening the calf, this is stretching the calf, it's going to be the most stretched position, length of position, sorry, of the calf that you want to be in, and then create your contraction from there. It appears Aaron has added some volume to my program. So, apparently, increase set, neutral pull downs, and an increased set in leg extensions on top of the increased sets in hamstrings. So, that's always nice. Well, this is getting spicy. Please stop weighing yourself at the gym. You do not need to do it. If you weigh yourself at the gym, there's so many conflicting variables, confounding variables that will impact what the actual output number is saying. Post toilet, first thing in the morning, naked before shower, is the only logical time to weigh yourself. Anything outside of that is just either ego inflation or guesstimation at best. And there's too many variables to control for. How much water did you have that day? Meals, what time did you have meals? Bathroom activity, sleep the night before, stress levels that day, total output and activity that day, clothing that you're wearing, clothing you're not wearing, what time you had your pre-workout. All those things will impact how much you weigh. So stop weighing yourself at the gym. It's a nice little guesstimation, but that's at best all it is. What? Fuck you. Oh. 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 Fucking couldn't catch it the one time. There you go. Oh. Ooh. Oh. All right, so if you're going to have a, if you're going to use failure as a metric for your training, which you should, make sure that you have a 5 to 7% leeway, either side, but have a range that is an acceptable repetition distance and technique control, so that if you start to exceed past that, you can by definition establish where your failure point is. So on those, there was probably no good rep left where it wasn't going to be, by proxy start being failure or sloppy in form and technique, which just generates, it's generating an unnecessary amount of fatigue. It isn't going to yield the right stimulus that I want. So failure will yield fatigue, that's a given. But you want to make sure that it's actually beneficial to the set and the execution of the program. So judging by the last repetition, there was no real point in going beyond that before it started just being too high a fatigue for stimulus ratio. I think everyone that follows Mark Israel probably just creamed their pants here in that conversation. All right, leg extensions. Yep. Fuck. Oh. Oh. Oh, fuck. Whew. Yep. 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 Oh, fuck. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Yep. Oh, fuck. I left my fucking fork at home, so I didn't get any of my meals in. I left my fork at home, so I didn't get any fucking meals in. I had a protein bar and a banana. And now I feel sick. Whew. Ah, fuck. Yeah. Here's a tip for coaches that program deloads is stop looking just at tangible numbers as a means for deloading, and also stop looking at joint inflammation, muscle fatigue as the only reason for facilitating deloading. So a really important tool to consider when managing fatigue is psychological or somatic stress. Sorry, psychological stress, and its impact on the somatic relationship. When we look at implementing deloads, not only when to deload, but the why and the how of the deload starts to matter when it comes to maximizing recoverability and fatigue management for the point of that deload, basically. So you need to look at what are the main reasons, why are we deloading, what is happening. Usually the client's performance is reducing, fatigue is really high, recoverability is terrible, soreness is through the roof. You're probably at the peak of a mesocycle in terms of load generability, being able to maximize or generate load, and take that exercise movement through its entirety. You're pretty much getting the most out of it for that mesocycle. Now, there are a lot of factors that go into that though. So looking at stress at work, stress in the home life, relationships, looking at psychological issues that may be going on, university, school, study, performance pressures and expectations, internal pressures and expectations, self-identity, social identity. The list of things that can contribute to the reason why someone will feel the perception or the presence of fatigue is huge. So a deload can also be used to reduce the psychological stresses that come with that. So one of the things that I have my clients do when we onboard is the pleasure and personal enjoyment assessment, so that we can have an understanding of what the parasympathetic side of their system is like. What do they actually consider downtime or relaxation or de-stressing? Because my perception of de-stressing is different to theirs. The way I program a deload is different to theirs. So if you only look at deloading as it has to be a 30% reduction in total generated load across the week, and that is it, you are missing out the fundamental reasons of why we are managing fatigue, that is to reduce overall stress on the body. Part of that physiological stress is psychological stress. There is evidence that is clear as day you reduce someone's perception of fatigue. If you reduce someone's perception of stress, you'll improve their ability to go longer before fatigue is present. So basically they get a closer proximity to a true failure before the body will fatigue and exert itself. So just consider that when you're looking at deloading. Are you actually, is stress management, psychological stress, one of the reasons why you're deloading? Oh. Oh, that's it. Fuck. Whew. For everyone wondering what the best final set song is, it's this. And yes, I can take me higher. Gotta wait for that break, you know. NFL halftime. Fuck. All right. Okay. So that is not normally when I would train. Nor would I train this close to an empty stomach. I hate it. Until I get closer to prep or deeper in prep. And I'll specifically time food for a reason. But to make do, come back from deload. It's about 90% training capacity or 90% previous pre-deload load. That'll give us a good runway to titrate volume. We can increase lift. And run this block now until things start getting really intense. And we can dig into the actual prep phase. So yeah, that is officially the first session of the actual working prep phase. Hello. Hello, Joe. My love shines over my horizon. She's a slice of heaven. I did not. I was not aware of that at all. I didn't agree with this. Oh, my calves are so tight. Oh, so tight. I want to touch the hiney. Is out here with myself having a good time. Whew. What is up, YouTube? I don't know how influencers do this shit, talk to themselves all the time. Here's a day in the life while I set up a camera that isn't actually candid in the day of my life. Get ready with me while I wake up and have to adjust the camera 7 times. All right, so it's Friday, coming to the end of week 2. Weight's holding steadily, which means we're probably finding proximity to maintenance, which is good. At 4,000 calories, I'm not mad. It's pretty good. Cardio 3 times a week. Fasted morning walk most days of the week. With that, we'll take some acetyl L-carnitine, morning caffeine, other supplementation pre-steps. Usually ends with a caffeine drink or a coffee. And then get back straight into a meal after this, get ready for the day, and then crack on. So for Fridays, usually have business meetings, check-ins, some face-to-face work, and then if any are booked before the weekend, some consultations. But today given this week being the end of our semester, most major projects are wrapped up for the year. So uni's done, assignments are done, exams are done, all client season preps are done. So kind of taking a slower approach this week than usual, which is still, I don't know, for most people probably a lot, but taking a bit of a slower approach this week, enjoying some downtime to ease off before cracking into a big Christmas break. So we've still got a lot of projects to come out for Q1 next year, including our psych lecture, some workshops, some more online educational content, as well as obviously my own prep. So there's still a lot getting done. It's just this week before that, it's kind of like a bit of a mental deload before cracking on for the rest of it. As I said in some of the training footage and whatnot. Pretty much around the end of December, we'll start to plan out the next trip to America in August. Start looking at who we're going to collaborate with over there, spend some time with ATS and their team, go back to Philly, check into Ohio maybe, Texas, catch up with some of the mastermind group down there, see Tex, Denny, Dr. Denny, she deserves, Tintle, go check out the barn, and then we'll probably head up to Reston and the Northeast and see New York City and whatnot. So we'll start planning that out. Again, end of December. I believe young Philip is going to attend with us as well, so there'll be a lot of content planning for that as well. So yeah, projects are still in line, things are still happening. At this point, just kind of taking a week to ease off to a degree. Probably going to close the books for a period of time, lock everyone in, take care of who we've got, make sure we serve our clients first. I'm a big believer that you take care of who you have instead of spending all your time trying to acquire new ones. And generally what happens is people stick around. So that's the plan for the rest of the year. And we'll just be keeping content rolling out like this as much as possible. There's a very real chance we'll be upping content with Phil 3 times a month. So we'll make sure there's going to be plenty of direct training content, especially as prep begins to advance and get harder. Make sure that there's more direct training vlog sessions, and then we'll have stuff like this behind the scenes, day in the life stuff going on as well. So yeah, that's pretty much what's happening on Friday. Second week of prep nearly over. Hello. What is up, YouTube? I just finished my last ever open bodybuilding show. What is up? All right, so end of week 2 is done and dusted. We will continue to get as much detail and information on things as possible. We are still in the maintenance phase this week, so I got down to a low of 105.7. So there's a good couple of kilos off the first 2 weeks there, which is nice, especially when we're trying to find maintenance. So a small reduction in food led to a pretty decent drop in drop in weight, which is nice. Steps have stayed up well and truly above 10,000. Did three lots of cardio this week. Posing practice this weekend. I'll be endeavoring to get up and see Chrissy Black soon, and get to actual coaching for posing practice. As much as I love posing and what I do, it's always good to outsource for those things beyond yourself. Yeah, we'll have check-in with Aaron tomorrow, so we'll get our first video for week 3 underway and see what the big guy has in plan. I believe we're still running maintenance for about another week or so. That's sort of like pre-prep phase to tidy up a bit more and drop some more body fat off. Everything's kind of digesting and sitting a little bit easier, so digestion's a lot better, stress is a lot less. Appetite's still pretty high, which is good. Food's going in relatively easy. Yeah, work's done this weekend, training's finished, cardio's done, posing's done, client work is finished off, so now we're just ending Sunday afternoon with my way of de-stressing, which is playing stressful video games, which makes a whole lot of sense for a lot of people. At the moment, I just beat Lord of the Rings Shadow of War. I was kind of bored of that, so I just bought Diablo 4, and I'll play that for a little while. So anyone who knows me knows that Diablo is it's a very exciting series. The lore, the stories, and the fables inside Diablo is based a lot on mythology and the depth of genuine Christianity mythology, which is quite cool. It obviously extrapolates out of a fair bit of fantasy, but there's some pretty in-depth storytelling inside the games itself, which they run now for, I think there's been four total games. So those kind of get me interested. It means I don't have to think other than pay attention to the game. So yeah, gonna end the night on that. Got a few more meals to get in, and that will pretty much be the end of week 2. Yet to miss a beat, which is good. Obviously, you wouldn't be expecting anything less, but just in case you were, nothing's been missed yet, and we'll keep going with updates. So, good shit.